welcome to our beloved parishioners. I'm Ashley.
I'm Bailee.
And this is Praise Be to Pod. Wow, this keeps getting better.
I think so.
And weirder.
I think so too.
All right, Bailee, what's on your heart today?
Okay, so this is going to sound a lot darker than it feels. I just feel like I need to put out that disclaimer. So I am turning 31 on Sunday or soon.
Happy
I know
birthday.
that when this episode comes out, it's going to be in the past.
Months before.
Exactly, yes. I'm turning 31. And for a lot of people who know me really well, 31 is a really landmark birthday for me.
Because Proverbs 31.
No, because my dad died when he was 31. But yeah, let's go with the Proverbs 31. I'm actually so glad that happened.
Okay, that is important.
Yeah. So I didn't know that this was an actual phenomenon, but there was a really long period of my life where my 31st birthday was so ominous. And every year I got closer to it felt so scary. And I wasn't entirely sure why until I listened to this podcast from Anderson Cooper and Stephen Colbert, actually, whose dads had both passed away when they were kids, where they talk about a similar occurrence, but it's when it was really ominous for when their kids would get to the age of when their dads passed away. So and then they had a hard time visualizing life after that.
Yeah.
And that sounds darker than it is. It's not really dark. It's more just what does after 31 look like when you don't have that person to model it after you. And there was a really long period of time where I was really nervous about that happening and really scared. And because there's something about getting older than your parent that feels really okay, it's my turn to take the mantle from here. But I am happy to report that I'm so excited to turn 31.
Okay.
And I was really hoping that there would be a shift, but I felt when I was 29, I felt like I was 80. And then when I was 30, I was younger. I feel like I'm in my 20s again. And everything just feels a lot lighter. And I'm actually really excited to turn 31. I'm really happy to be in my 30s. And just looking at my life, I'm just I'm so pleased with how everything is going. Everything feels pretty easy and manageable. And I feel I'm really happy most days and most of the time. And that's something that I never really could have visualized for myself.
Wow.
And so I'm happy to report that I'm turning 31 and I feel pretty okay about it.
I didn't realize your dad was so young.
I know. And that's not a bummer.
Yeah.
But those evangelicals, they get married real young.
Yeah.
I was 7.
That's crazy.
Anyway, Ashley, what is on your heart?
Well, mine is a lot less intense and
love it.
Maybe more shallow. I got a haircut.
I saw, and it looks so good. I really
thank you.
it.
No one is noticing. I literally cut off 8 inches of hair. Jacob didn't say anything.
He doesn't need to.
Guess who else didn't say anything? Bailee. When I saw her.
It's actually true. I went to one of Ashley's parties recently, and it took me an hour. And you were like, Bailee, do you notice anything different? And then I was just oh no, what have I done? I couldn't believe that I had missed it.
Yeah. I was in the office at my regular job yesterday.
Ugh, the day job.
Not one person noticed.
Really? And it's
I was
quite a lot.
Is it bad? Is it ugly? And that's why no one's saying anything?
No, it's not that. So my theory for myself was that when I walked in, there was already so many people there. So I initially had to start interacting with people.
Yeah.
And I came with a friend, so I wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable because they didn't know anyone there. And so I think my mind was preoccupied. But I'd like to think that if you and I had just hung out one-on-one after that I would have noticed. But we'll never know.
Maybe.
We will never know.
My husband gets mad at me because I never realized when he trims his beard.
Oh, really?
I don't notice at all.
That's such a minimal change, though.
And he was like, how would you feel? And I was like, if you had a 16-inch beard and then you cut off half of it, I would notice.
Yes.
But when you trim the half an inch, every 4 weeks or whatever, I'm sorry, I don't notice.
Beards are so a part of their identity. But hair is a part of our identity. So I guess
I know.
Hair is everything, as they say in Fleabag.
So I have a new segment.
Yes.
Because I basically want to give some recommendations of things that I'm watching or listening to or reading. And I know you have good recommendations, and I
Mhm.
love recommendations like that from a podcast.
Mhm.
And so our recommendation segment is called Trust and Obey,
Mhm.
because trust that these are good recommendations and obey by reading them or watching them.
Partaking in them. Yeah. Totally. I like that.
So, my recommendation lately is I'm so late to the game. I can't
Mhm.
believe I hadn't watched this sooner. I know it's like many years old, but I've been watching Rami,
Oh,
and it's like I'm assuming kind of a first person account of the creator,
yep.
who's
It is
Egyptian
his.
American.
Mhm.
And it goes back to like his childhood, and then it flips back to the future, like
Mhm.
the current day, and kind of his wrestle with being first generation Egyptian American and being Muslim in like a secular world. And
Mhm.
there's like a lot of crossover
So
between
much.
like just being in a religious minority
Mhm.
versus like the regular world at hand.
Yeah.
So there was just like so many good parts in it that I loved. And I think if
Yeah.
anyone grew up religious, even if you're like, I didn't grow up in a first generation family or any sort of like immigrant family, but
Mhm.
even if you just grew up religious, it's
Yeah.
really
Like
relatable.
religious in a counterculture kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
way.
really relatable.
I felt a lot of connection with him in
Yeah,
that show too. And I actually like I got so into it I was like watching like interviews and stuff with him.
yeah,
And he was talking about how at some type of like talk show or something, he met a man who's like, I know I'm not Muslim, but I grew up evangelical and I feel
yeah,
like I connected to the show so much. I just thought it was magic. Like I
yeah,
just think it's such a great show. I really like it.
yeah.
I actually have a funny story about the actor Rami Youssef.
Hmm.
When I first moved to LA, my boyfriend and I at the time were like trying to just like make ourselves do things. So we went to this like makeshift stand-up comedy show at a taco truck,
Uh-huh.
and he was there, but he
Well,
was like unknown at that
yeah,
time. But that was yeah, I had an
cool.
opportunity to see Rami Youssef when he was just a little guy.
Oh,
Yeah, funny
it's
little
really
story.
funny.
Yes.
Other than that, I've only been working on this podcast, so I don't have any other
Oh, I know.
recommendations.
No more free time. Yeah. No, it's so true.
What about you? Do you have any things that we need to trust and obey?
Okay, so this is an old movie, like very old. But I went floating down the river with a friend recently, and I was under the influence, admittedly. But I had this like crash out moment where I started tearing up about like the state of our country.
Mm.
And then I reflected upon an old movie I used to watch all the time when I was younger, The Sound of Music.
Well,
And I was thinking about the scene when Captain Von Trapp is singing Edelweiss in front of the auditorium, and you can tell he's about to go into hiding afterwards with his family, escaping like the Nazi Germany like invasion of Poland, or not Poland, Austria.
yeah,
And he's like looking at the audience kind of with like sorrow and love at the same time, because he just knows it's probably the last time he's going to be able to like see these people in this context. He's afraid of like how they're being brainwashed. And I was thinking about that scene, and it just fucked me up. And I started crying on the river, humming Edelweiss to myself.
wow.
And so I think that for such a time as this, everybody should take a moment to rewatch The Sound of Music. I think that it has its finger on the pulse of what's happening today. And I think that it would serve as like, there's a lot of like similarities between like culture shifts and like, especially in the
Yeah.
early stages of them, where it just feels a little ominous, but it's not quite like full out authoritarian communism or whatever.
Mhm.
Not communism, just authoritarianism. The Red Scare slipped in just now for me. But anyway, that's what I would recommend at this time, to rewatch The Sound of Music.
Fun fact, I was in the play The Sound of Music
Were you really?
in 7th grade.
Who were you?
Okay, I tried out for Liesel.
Yes,
Many
the eldest
times.
daughter.
And any other time I tried out for musicals, I would sing 16 Going on 17. That was like the song I would sing.
It's a great song.
But instead I was a nun.
Okay.
So I had to sing the Maria song.
That's a good song though.
Yeah.
I really like it. I have one more thing to say about that before I move on. You can have sexual awakenings as a 30-year-old. It happens in cycles, because I recently just had one where I re-recognized how fucking hot Captain Von Trapp is. I was just like, oh my God. He's like, when he rips the Nazi flag in front of his house right down the middle, I was like, whew, that did something to me. That made me flutter on my insides. Like I was 13, like recognizing my body for the first time.
Wait, are you saying that it's just happened now? Or are you saying this happened when you were 13?
It happened like a month ago. So like, yeah, right now.
Okay.
I think that I didn't know this as a 13-year-old about Captain
Yeah,
Von
because
Trapp.
you're like looking at the teenagers instead, the little Nazi.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
whatever his
And then
name
you don't
is.
like realize, oh, he's
Yeah,
a
and then I got
demon.
older
Yeah.
and I was just like, kind of like how everyone is really into Charlie from Twilight now instead of like Edward and Jacob.
Totally.
And much hotter.
Yeah.
But yeah, Captain Von Trapp. Whew. Okay, we should move on. We should honestly move on.
Okay, I have something that would be a really great
okay.
segue. Okay, our topic today is backsliders.
Yes.
When we were planning this topic, Bailee had a fun little song that she sang.
Don't do this.
And I gotta tell you, it's been in my head ever since. And it goes like this.
Backsliders, yummy, yummy. That's the whole song. That's the song. It doesn't mean anything. We were talking about it and I just started singing it. I think I was drunk when we were like,
Probably.
And that's the song. So if we say that at some point in time during this episode, there is context for it. And it is the context that we just
I gotta tell you,
shared.
I'm really jealous of you because like I can't really drink because my body rejects it immediately.
Well, I will
by
drink for the
making
both
my
of
face
us.
bright red and an
Oh,
intolerable heat that I will never get rid of.
I'm so sorry.
I wish I was drunk when we were planning this. But instead I was drinking my NA wine like a little loser.
You're a loser. I envy that. I feel like I could be reaching for the bottle a little less if I'm being honest.
You know,
I have
you
a
always
lot of-
want what you can't have.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Very true. Very true. Okay, so like we said, our topic today is backsliding, and we'll get into a more thorough definition in a little bit, but I'm just going to provide a little bit of context for it before we get into our game. So if you didn't grow up in this world and you're thinking, what is backsliding? Essentially, it just means like if you're a Christian, doing something sinful or adjacent to sin that gives the appearance of like stepping away or going backwards in terms of your faith expression.
I think the phrase I heard a lot is you want to be above reproach.
Above reproach. I heard that too.
Which means like you don't want anyone to think that you might not be the perfect Christian.
Yeah, it's overachieving kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You have to give yes, exactly.
So don't make it even look like you could be sinning.
Exactly.
Like don't go into a bathroom with another man or whatever, you know.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't go to the bathroom at all. Let's just just save any inkling for sin.
Like a
yeah.
UTI.
Exactly. So we're going to play a little game that we call Backslider Bingo. So Ashley and I are going to, or I'm going to read off different like scenarios that may or may not have happened to either of us. And if it has happened to us, we're going to like get a point. And then by the end of the list, whoever has the most points gets a one-way ticket to hell. So let us begin. The first backsliding scenario. Did you, Ashley, go to prom?
Yeah, I went to 2.
I did not go to prom. Ashley, get the point. All right. Have you ever said, I just don't feel called to that?
Ugh, I wish I said it more.
I said
Unfortunately, no.
I said it about praying in tongues. I was like, I don't feel called to praying in tongues.
I should use it now, though.
All right. Ding. My turn. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Have you ever been receptive to a Rob Bell video?
Definitely.
Yes, I've been so
There was some really influential ones in the beginning.
I think that he was kind of my catalyst for like,
Totally.
I don't know about that. Okay. Have you ever questioned the rapture?
Not enough, but yes.
Yeah, me too. Question the hell out of that. Have you ever skipped church for a family birthday?
I've skipped church for a lot less.
But has it been a family birthday specifically?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because I think that we, like in my family, we would have gone to church first and then celebrated the birthday after. Have you ever wore a bikini?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
First time on my honeymoon.
I'll do it again. In fact, we're going to do it this weekend when we go camping. Have you ever written poetry that didn't mention God?
Probably not.
I don't really write poetry. Does it have to be poetry?
I don't know. I'm not a writer.
I mean, I like to write, but not poetry. So no, I guess. Have you ever driven over the speed limit?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Gotten a speeding ticket even.
Ashley.
Backsliding.
Yummy. Backslider. Yummy, yummy. Have you ever criticized or even questioned the war in Iraq? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. That would have in like the early 2000s. That would have been a immediate backslider criticism or what's the word I'm thinking of?
Marker.
Words. Accusation.
Accusation.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever kissed before marriage or even before engagement?
Yes.
Me too. I have kissed. Okay. Have you ever experienced secondhand embarrassment when someone blew the shofar at church?
Okay, not at church, but definitely at that conference that we both went to.
Oh yeah, the one in Israel. Yeah, I've experienced
Yes.
secondhand embarrassment for sure. Have you ever hung out with a Catholic?
Yeah, I even dated one.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. One of my best friends is Catholic. Can you believe it? Okay, 2 backsliders. Okay, this one's targeted. Have you ever gotten drunk in Jerusalem? Yep.
No, but
Guilty.
I did have a glass of wine and I got in trouble.
Yeah, I got quite drunk. Okay, that one was clearly put in there for me. Have you ever tried to manifest something?
Yes.
Me too. All the time.
Hasn't been successful.
Okay. I think it has for me. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the things I have manifested have come true. Have you ever read a book by Richard Rohr?
No.
Yes. Ding. I love
Who's
Richard
winning?
Rohr.
It's really easy
Oh,
right
shoot.
now.
Okay.
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 Have you ever said, this verse feels out of context?
Yes.
Yes. Me too. Have you ever voted for a Democrat?
100% of the time.
I've never not. Blue back to back. Okay. Have you ever not gone to see you at the poll?
Yes.
I skipped a couple times too. It was so cold outside. I don't know why we had to have it in January in Minnesota.
Wait, ours was in September.
Wait, was it just a really cold day in September?
Like, it's in January.
I feel like it was so cold. My memory's a little faded on that though. I'll do some research later and
Okay.
confirm this. Have you ever owned crystals or even thought they were pretty?
I think they're pretty, but I've never had any.
I've done both. Ding ding.
Damn it.
Have you ever talked about mental health at a Bible study?
Yes.
I've never been to a Bible study.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to like other little small groups, but it's never specifically been a Bible study.
Wow. Extra point for you.
I guess. Have you ever watched or read The Da Vinci Code?
I don't think so.
I have both. I loved The Da Vinci Code when I
Damn
was
it,
younger.
you're gonna beat me.
Mm-hmm. Did you not text your friends God's not dead after seeing God's not dead?
Correct.
I didn't text
I
him
did
either.
not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you ever read the Message version of the Bible?
Yes, but I was critical of it.
I don't like the Message version. I think it's sloppy. Sloppy theological application.
It's for Young Life attendees.
Do you think it's okay to read? Does it not count if you've read the Message but you criticized it, just like other conservative theologians? I think that we both don't get a point for that. Have you ever done yoga?
Yes.
Yes, me
I
too.
really liked it.
Okay. Jacob, who won?
I was not counting the extra points.
Okay.
Okay.
Ashley had 18. Bailee had 19.
Damn it! Straight to hell.
One-way ticket to hell. Honestly, my bags were packed anyway, so I am ready after this podcast recording to start the venture. Gorgeous. Oh,
Okay,
thank
really
you.
good game.
I think so. I had fun.
Okay, also I'm gonna put a bingo card together and we'll put it on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
So that will be up.
So
when
that the
this
people can
episode
play
goes
it.
up. Yeah. So you can know.
With their friends and family.
Yeah. Okay, so when we started talking about this topic, I was like, where's this even come from? Is it just some sort of like weird evangelical thing?
Mhm.
But it actually is biblical.
Whoa, that's
Yes,
rare.
I know.
That is so rare for something evangelicals to believe is actually biblical.
I know. So it
Okay.
comes from primarily the Old Testament, especially in the prophets. It was used to describe Israel turning away from God, often through idol worship or breaking their covenant. Covenant is a fancy word for promise in the Bible.
Yep.
And backsliding usually meant turning away or turning back. And in the New Testament, there is a verse in Revelation that has the ideas of falling away or becoming lukewarm, and they kind of get like lumped in with backsliding theology.
Yes, I would agree.
So originally it was a prophetic warning to a whole nation for abandoning God.
Mm-hmm.
But now in the evangelical world, or like in the world that we grew up in, it's kind of just a label slapped on individuals to like control them a little bit and make sure they keep coming to church in the perfect way.
Yes, in like a very specific iteration of the faith too.
Yes.
And it also, I think it's just like an excuse to gossip. Like, oh,
Yes.
so and so's in backsliding, or this like over obsession with like holding people accountable, where there's just like culture of confrontation that's just so silly.
Yes. So it's kind of like when you step outside of the cultural church norms, you're labeled as a backslider.
Yes.
Okay, so what were you taught about backsliding?
Okay, so in my church growing up, so we had like a lot of like, so the county that I grew up in was like at the time the poorest county in Minnesota. So we just had like a lot of people that were like experiencing like marginalization or disenfranchisement in like different capacities. So I would say that the range of backsliding was pretty significant. So it could be as minimal as listening to the secular music station.
Right.
It could also be as extreme as going back to prison for distributing meth.
Okay.
So anything that fell in between there was considered backsliding.
It's really intense.
Yes. No, it's so true though. We just had like so many people where it's just like, we're so and so. And I'm like, recidivism. Recidivism got them.
I feel like I was constantly in fear of not doing more or like growing more in my faith or like bearing fruit is like a thing that they would say a lot.
Okay.
And I felt a lot of pressure to like constantly get better and constantly change and be perfect, like mind, body, spirit. You know, like am I reading my Bible enough? Am I praying enough? Am I getting up early enough to do my devotion? Like it was just constantly like if I wasn't doing all of that more and more and more, I was obviously going backwards in my faith. If I wasn't going forwards, I was going backwards.
I was gonna say like it sounds like stagnancy in and of itself was backsliding.
100%,
where it's like
lukewarm.
You had to be a shark. You had to be moving or you die, kind of a thing. Interesting.
And that's like really come over into my current life. Like if I'm not doing something new or changing something or growing, like I have a hard time feeling like I'm doing enough. It's very stressful. Yeah. So I don't like that.
No, there's definitely like a significant performative nature to it.
Yeah. Was there ever a time when you were like, oh no, I might be backsliding?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I was always backsliding. Like the only time I wasn't, so I remember when I was at the International House of Prayer and I got on fire for Jesus.
Yes.
I came home to visit and somebody from our church was like, your mother is really proud of you. And she's been talking about you a lot and how like excited she is about you getting excited about Jesus. And I think that was maybe one of the first times I've ever heard of my mom talking positively about me behind my back. And so that was maybe one of the only times I didn't feel like I was backsliding, because I would say like my version of backsliding was questioning faith, which I would try to always explain like it was actually more so because I felt like a significant loyalty to the faith. So whenever I would hear something that didn't actually sound like the God that I had been taught about or that I knew or that was in the Bible, I'd be like, are we sure about this? And then that would get like a backsliding label. So I think like doubt was the thing that people were always like, that's what I got to check. Not like, if I think that being too open-minded was often like how I got labeled being a backslider. And then there were periods of my time, like in my young adult life, where I think I was just like, yeah, of course I'm backsliding. Like that's exactly what I'm doing. So yes, I would say that I always kind of felt that until now, honestly. What about you?
I remember I was very scared to backslide when I went to college.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing that we were taught in youth group too. Like that is going to be your biggest temptation when you go to college, is that you're going to want to backslide. Yeah,
you're going to want to, go binge drinking and get pregnant.
Everyone wants to get pregnant in college. Yeah. It's like clockwork.
I was like, oh my God. I remember like my summer after, I don't think I talked about this in my origin story. My summer after grad school, I had 3 months before I was supposed to move to Asia to be a missionary. And I had ended my contract with the university. So I had 3 months of freedom. Where like I wasn't bound to any specific organization to like oversee me.
Yeah.
Or my spiritual life.
Abide by their specific
or abide
rules.
by their rules. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I dated an atheist. I even slept at his house sometimes.
Ashley.
I had many talks with my old university leaders because they were very nervous.
Yeah. And it gives the appearance of evil, that's for sure.
I was caught with a hangover. It was wild. And I remember I had to have like a meeting with my new leader in Asia
Mhm.
on Skype back then.
Mhm.
And I was so ashamed. I was like, I gotta tell you, I haven't been really reading my Bible. Like I was
yeah.
so ashamed, and I was like, but I'm still coming, I guess.
Mhm.
Like I don't know why, but I'll still be there.
Mhm.
And they were really cool and normal and didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I still talk to them now. But I remember just being like, oh no, I can't tell them about what I've been doing this summer.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. That's
I
so
know.
frustrating.
And then that boy like tried to come to visit me in Asia. And I was like, no, 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 no. Trouble.
That's so kind of him, though.
Trouble,
to go all that way.
trouble.
Trouble.
You're not a Christian.
You can't come to Asia.
I mean, like, I don't know if I told him what I was doing. I was just like,
he just wanted to come visit you.
Yeah, like he liked me.
Yeah.
And he was like, what am I doing? Nothing.
You always
Let me
speak
come see you.
positively about him,
Oh,
too.
he's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this period. So there are two periods that are coming to my mind right now where, like, after I went to the International House of Prayer, I enrolled into community college to get my generals done. And at the time, I was just living with my old youth pastor because they had like a basement space.
Okay.
And this is so ridiculous. But I went over to some friend's house and I got drunk at their house, which is what you do when you're in college.
Yeah.
And then, I stayed the night there, and I think I like let my youth pastor know, like, oh, I'm just gonna stay the night here. So she just like wasn't waiting up.
Yeah.
And I think that what had happened was that she told my mom that I hadn't come home, because then the next day my mom came and like went back down into my room, and she was like, so what have you been doing lately? And like I could see that she was looking for things, and I'm just like, someone told her that I didn't come home, and she came into my adult bedroom to look through stuff. Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
What do you think she'd find? Liquor?
I don't know, probably like
pregnancy test?
Weapons? Like I don't know. Like I don't even know what she was expecting. I literally just think that she wanted to catch me. Like she had like dilated pupils. She was like a bloodhound. She was like, I gotta find something. Like she was so excited to catch me in the act.
Yeah.
And then another time was when I was moving to Los Angeles. I was going to live with my boyfriend that I was moving there with because rent is $1 million. Nobody lives by themselves in LA. So I kind of had to sit her down and be like, this is what's happening. And I know you're not going to like it, but this is what is happening. Wow. She didn't care for that. But she actually responded with a lot of, I think there was the straightforwardness that she like oddly respected, where she was just like, and I remember her saying, I disagree with that. And I remember saying like, okay, well then pay my rent. Yeah. In LA, like put money where your mouth is if you disagree with it so much. And I think she was just kind of like, oh, I can't do that. Yeah. And I won't. Yeah. So that was another era of backsliding, because recently I talked to a family member who was like, your mom was really worried about you when you lived in LA. Yeah. And I was like, because I couldn't pay my rent, because that was the biggest problem. Yes. But I know it's just because I was living with my boyfriend. Yeah.
I know that like Rhett McLaughlin, who is one of the people from Good Mythical Morning. It's like a really, really popular YouTube show. Okay. And the two guys that run it used to be on Southwest Campus Crusade. Okay. And then they became like YouTube stars. Oh. They own a whole empire in LA. And everyone always talks about like, oh, they lost their faith because they moved to LA. And he's like, no, I lost my faith because I didn't believe in creationism anymore. Right. And so it's always like, I know, so he has a lot of deconstruction stuff like throughout, TikTok or whatever, but
yeah, I do think that the evangelical world, there is like a Christian to California pipeline that is like, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to backslide if you move to California. And it's like, you honestly don't have enough money to backslide in California. Yeah. Like I couldn't go out. Like I couldn't do a lot of the California things. Right. Because it's so expensive there.
I know people always said that about New York too. Like, oh, if you move to New York, you won't be a Christian.
Yeah, New York and California.
It's like, oh no, I'm around all these open-minded people. If I like don't want to be a part of my faith anymore, that's up to me.
So when at the church that I grew up in, I was actually just talking to somebody. There were like a few families that were like bloodhounds about backsliding. And they just could sniff it out. And was just talking to a friend today actually about how gentleman father like in our church was like helping her with her car because she was having some issues. And like when he turned on the car, like the radio was playing that the station that she had it on.
Uh-oh.
So he pulled her aside afterwards and he was like, "Hey, I noticed you were listening to KCLD, St. Cloud, like pop music station."
No.
And he like gave her like a reprimand for it.
For the secular music?
For the secular music. And then she was also talking about how like that family like they'd always like be like, "Hey, you need to pull your shirts up," like always going out of their way, which is so strange because like in my family, like we weren't correcting other people as much as like it was like on me.
Yeah.
But there are some people where it's like they were just so eager to confront like other people.
Yeah.
And there is this story, and like I won't tell the whole story because I don't know if I would have permission to tell the whole story, but there was like a period of time where, and my mom had told me that like some people in our church had like had her over for dinner, and it was really nice, and she thought it was really nice. And then they did a bait and switch where they were like saying that they brought her over for dinner because they wanted to tell her that her skirt was too short. She was our pastor, and she felt really like, I wish they would have just told me instead of made it a whole like dinner thing. Like they had to like set her aside. And then there was a period of time where
And her skirt was too short that day, or like several weeks
no, I think
ago?
maybe like the Sunday before, but they
Oh
made a
my
big
goodness.
fuck, like they had to sit her down. I just remember being so angry where I was just like, really? Like that's the hill you're gonna die on, and you're gonna make it like we care about you, so we're gonna like make you dinner. I'm like, actually, that's like really manipulative. But I remember there were some sermons that came afterwards from her.
Oh,
Well, I got a little spunk from her.
okay.
She was just talking about, I can't remember what it was exactly because I was much younger. She was talking about like not basically like getting too worked up about things that aren't even related to
Yeah.
like morality. So
Yeah.
like at one point in time, because I was going through a stage where I really liked wearing black fingernail polish,
Yeah.
and like her and I fought on that a lot because it was just unbecoming of a woman of God, I guess.
course.
And so from the pulpit, she was just like, yeah, and like there are certain things where it's like I don't like them, but like, is that the hill I'm gonna die on? So I'm gonna say it. It's okay if my daughter wears black fingernail polish. And I was just like,
I
yes. It
won.
was also just like so not like her. So I think she was
Yeah.
going through something where she was just
Yeah.
like, y'all need to get the fuck off my dick.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm sure that's what she was thinking.
yes. And I was just kind of like, it's just like this cute little human moment. I didn't have a lot of human moments
Yeah.
like that with her where she kind
Yeah.
of like broke the fourth wall.
Right. Yeah.
But it felt a little bit like that's maybe what that was about. Maybe if she ever listens to it, she's gonna be like, that is not what I meant. And if that's the case, everyone's allowed to explain their own side of the story. But that is the perspective I got, was that she had a little moment of human.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did she think? What did she think about like your tattoos and stuff?
She's cool with them.
Okay. No
Yeah.
problem.
She doesn't really have a lot to say about that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had students
also-
who like got a nose ring and their parents were like, I'm cutting you off.
No, we weren't
Very
really. We
dramatic.
didn't really care about tattoos and piercings.
Okay.
We were like, like there's that like sect of Christianity that's like the prison to the pulpit pipeline, where it's like
Oh yeah.
people who are covered head to toe in tattoos.
Yeah.
They go to prison, or they were
Mhm.
like big addicts and then they become pastors.
Yeah.
That was like the energy of it. It wasn't
Okay.
very buttoned up.
Okay.
It was very pious in the sense that like, but everyone had this really dark testimony where it's like, I used to kill people,
Yeah,
and
they
now
get
I
really
like lead
too
the kids
detailed about
church.
it. Yeah. It's like, oh, perfect.
Yeah. So there was like, it wasn't as pious as some environments were. And we like, but it was still like very like, there were still a lot of rules about like righteousness, but past was like, honestly, it seemed sometimes like the darker the past, the more legit you were.
Yeah.
Because you had a more radical
Yeah.
salvation experience. So yeah, that was one thing. I think with my mom too, in that moment where she, I'm assuming, got frustrated with those people like confronting her about something in such a like performative way.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of like the culture around backsliding is so like, it like weaponizes spiritual performance,
Mhm.
where it's like this big exhibition where like people can like, it's like where accountability comes in, where it's like, hey, I love you, so that's why I feel like I need to confront you about this issue right now. So like in my church, there were like there were people that would like tell other parents to put like anti-porn software on their kids' computers.
Yeah.
Like huge oversteps like that, where they
Yeah.
would get in and do that. They're like, I feel like I need to do this right now. Or there was a lot of like shame, and like I'm sure you've had this experience too, like shame around people like having to just step back in ministry, even like things that aren't even like inherently sinful, where they like, yeah, they had to like, oh, like I can't do kids church this week, or I have to take a little bit of time out of church because I have to go take care of someone. Where there was just like, why aren't you like showing up spiritually? There was always the assumption that something dark or insidious was going on
Okay.
underneath, versus it just being like, no, I'm just burnt out and I'm really tired. I don't know if did you experience that too?
I'm trying to think. Like, I remember most of the issue with me
Mm-hmm.
was like, I remember my freshman year, like this guy I was dating from home drove me back to school like mid-year
Mm-hmm.
and stayed in my dorm. And one of my friends was like so outraged that he stayed in my room. And he
Oh,
stayed like on my couch.
yeah,
And I was like, I'm an adult. Like, and this
right,
is like something that I've chosen to commit to. Like,
yeah.
you're not choosing it for me.
But they were just the,
She like would not give it up
and she kept bringing it
about
up.
how bad it was that I let him stay in my room. And I
Why
was like,
did
where
she
was he gonna
care?
stay?
Yeah,
Like, I didn't have any guy friends yet.
yeah.
I'd only been there a semester.
See, that is something that like I have not done things perfectly by any means, but I have never had the inclination to like out someone in the way that like feels to be such a hyper fixation of a lot of like evangelical Christians, that they want to catch people in the act so bad, or they want to expose sin that's like not even
Yeah.
sin. And I feel like on the opposite end, I felt like I had to compensate it by protecting people's privacy more, where people would confide in me and be like, we can't tell anyone because if you tell people, they're going to be like down
Yeah.
your throat about it.
Yeah.
And I truly just didn't have an inkling of it. And I don't know where that comes from. And it's maybe one of the most aggravating character traits that I saw.
I mean, I feel like there's a issue with like hypocrisy in Christianity and then like following, like practicing what you preach.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that's usually what they're trying to protect. Like, if I had leaders in my organization that I knew were like screwing around and
Mm-hmm.
not following like the tenets that we had all agreed to, what are you supposed to do?
That
Like,
feels like it makes a little bit more sense, because that's like a hypocrisy call out where it's like top
yeah.
down. It's like you're telling everyone to do this and you're not doing it
Yeah,
yourself.
that's
Like,
true. This is just like a peer, and we
yeah.
weren't.
Well, I'm thinking of like, I had like a friend in college at Oral Roberts University, TM, who, who like, I literally remember walking with her, and like from across the hall, somebody was like, your skirt is too short. And we just kind of looked at them like, what the fuck? And she was just like, oh, like with love, like I just like your shirt. And I'm like, no, you're not doing that with love. You just called it out in front of all of these people. Biblically, you're not actually even supposed to publicly be calling people out. What did you get out of that? Like, I just could not. And I'm like, I'm a gossip. I'm a
Yeah.
hater just as much as the next
Yeah.
person. I don't think it's like a moral high ground. I literally
like,
just don't
embarrass people.
understand what she got out of that situation, because I think it made her look fucking cringe.
Yeah, I mean, like my friends and I in college really loved confrontation.
Really? So maybe you could have a
we
perspective of
loved
this. Yeah.
confronting each other. But it was like we were such little loser goody goodies that like, what could we confront except for like attitudes? You know, like I remember my best friend from college, Maria, who says she listens to the podcast. So we'll see if she really does. I remember
What's
like
her name? Maria?
Maria.
Maria?
She's Egyptian American. Maria. You know?
Oh, that's a beautiful name.
So I'm like part of my biggest growth story. She was the proponent of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was very reactive and like very moody and very much like I'm the main character. Like if you're bugging me, it's your problem, not mine, kind of attitude. Like I was just kind of a troll. And I remember once I was like kind of rude to her, but like didn't really care. And then she was like, hey, you're so rude all the time.
Really?
And I was like, what do you mean? And she like had this big confrontation with me. And I was like, you're totally right. Because we like loved the iron sharpening iron, you know, like,
I know.
and I mean, she was right. And she did like help me grow and not be such a troll.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was very dramatic and we loved confronting people.
It's like makeup sex, where it's like the whole like, no, it's like evangelicals love that like confrontation, and then like,
yes,
no, you're right. Like I'm lower
yes.
than dirt. I need salvation. And then they all pray over each other. And it's like, you guys should just suck each other's dicks.
Oh.
No, I'm so serious right now. I'm so serious. That's what you all want. what I wanted. What? Who said that? No, but it's just this like you are so limited in the amount of like intense experiences you can have because you can't drink, you can't fuck, and you can't do drugs. The Holy Trinity. And so you're like, you know what I need to do is have confrontations that are
to have drama.
ethereal
Yes.
on like such a heightened level.
Yeah.
So you have to add the drama in like everyday life.
Oh my God. And it was so dramatic. I like went to everyone I knew and I was like, am I awful?
Oh, I bet
And
you.
they were like, a little bit.
Oh,
And I was like,
oh
oh my God, why are you friends with me?
Ah!
Like it was so dramatic. And everyone was like, I can't believe how much you've changed. You're like so much less of a troll now. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
what the fuck?
Did you ever have like, okay, I'm going to be like vulnerable for a second. When I was at the International House of Prayer, I started to recognize that the more grotesque of a testimony you have, the more like street cred you had.
Oh, totally.
And so I like when people would be like, what's your testimony? I would get so into like how deep and dark my sin was and like the pit that God pulled me out of. And I would get really emotional when I would talk about it and people would be like, wow, like the Lord has done such a work in this young lady. And I'm like, I smoked cigarettes sometimes. Like it wasn't really that big of a deal.
I think we need to do an episode on testimonies.
Oh, we're going to have, someone actually just said, I want an episode on testimonies. We will.
It's like so pivotal.
No, but there is such a like weird
Like, why
fixation
weren't
on having an
communications?
intense, grotesque testimony where everyone's just like, yeah. And it's just like, I don't know if it's just because no one's getting laid, where you have to like make
Yes.
everything
Well, it's like,
erotic.
did you get laid once though? Can I hear about it?
Oh,
Like,
I
it
know.
was like, oh my God, they had sex
Well,
and now they're not.
That's what I think it is. That
Yeah.
like people want these like
I want the dirt.
accountability partner situations because they're not getting any. So they're
Yeah,
like,
I wanna
so
hear the
you had
dirt.
sex outside of marriage. That's terrible. Tell me every detail for confession purposes.
Yes.
Don't leave anything out.
Yeah.
Like that. Maybe that's what's going on.
Oh my God, some of the things people would confess to me when I was on staff. I remember the nicest girl in the world.
Mhm.
She literally married her high school sweetheart.
Oh.
They dated all through college, celibate. And she comes
Wow.
to me and says, sometimes we have dry sex. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what this is. Like, please
Like
don't
dry
tell me,
humping,
please
I'm
don't tell me.
assuming.
So she's like, we're literally just like, getting up, but we have clothes on. And I was like, I think it's fine. I think God thinks it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
that's a loophole. You're good.
maybe just like go for it. I don't know. Oh, gross. I think they have like 5 kids now.
So they have moved on from dry sex
Still married.
to wet sex. There is a baby being conceived every time they smash now.
Oh my God. You are on one today.
Well, I don't know. This is my favorite topic. This is my favorite topic. No, but I will say this. One of the things, this is silly, like the obsession that we have with like having these really intense confrontations or like accountability moments where we talked about backsliding. But one of the things that I think that can get really dark is that we would like force shame, like intense shame on these like really small moments
Yes.
of indiscretion,
Yes.
which will destroy your nervous system and actually keep you from having the ability to know when you've really fucked up or you've really done something to create like
That's
real
really good.
harm.
Really true.
Yeah, because like I would have like the same feeling inside about like saying something with an off tone as I would to like really hurting a friend. But I was heightened all the time. So I don't think that I had any room to escalate my shame to when it's because shame is not inherently bad. There is a reason. There's socially corrective shame that keeps people from really fucking up and from hurting other people. And if you were
like
at
so
top,
you won't be a pedophile or like
yeah,
you won't,
exactly. Like, but if you're at a 10 with shame every time you watch an R-rated movie, you're not going to have that like, hey, you probably shouldn't like give heroin to a kid feeling. That's like more escalated. And I think that is one of the reasons why a lot of Christians crash out so much when they leave the faith is because like their nervous system is shot. They have no ability to be like, this is worse than watching Harry Potter.
That's a really good point. I've never heard that before.
Really?
No.
I think about that every day of my life.
It's really good. Like, is that why we all have autoimmune diseases too?
Maybe. No, I feel like I literally like remember being a kid, and so I wasn't allowed to watch Aladdin, the Disney movie,
Because it's not white.
No, we were allowed to watch not white people. I think it's because he was specifically Arab or Persian.
Hanging out with a monkey.
I would think it was the genie magic. Yeah, I think that's what it
The
was.
carpet.
Yeah, and I remember being at daycare and Aladdin like came on the TV, and I was like, I went to the daycare lady and like, hey, I'm not allowed to watch this, and she was just like, no, that's dumb. And she wouldn't take it off. And I had such a meltdown because I knew I was going to get in trouble for it.
Daycare? How old were you?
I would have been like 4 or 5.
Oh my God.
But I felt like that was my response. Like I would get in trouble. And to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I probably actually would have. Like I wasn't like
Yeah.
pulling that out of my ass. But like I was so intense for watching Aladdin that like I was
Yeah.
just constantly dysregulated about like sinning or like doing something wrong without knowing like, am I doing something wrong right now? That like when I got older and I like kind of like did my own thing, like I kind of got into some trouble
Yeah.
as like an adult. And like I still am trying to like get myself out of the hole that a lot of this trouble has caused. That like I don't feel shame about like some things that are actually pretty harmful now. And I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
think like I don't know if I feel shame anymore. Is that
Yeah.
bad?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember feeling like when I deconstructed, feeling so much relief because I didn't hate myself every day that I didn't read my Bible anymore. Or like I didn't have the shame that I used to have for such small things.
Yeah.
And like the American church just obsesses over discipline so much.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if we're getting off topic, but like
No, I think it's
it
all
obsesses
related.
over discipline so much so that if you are not perfectly regimented, you're backsliding.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't read my Bible 7 days out of 7 days, and not just a line, like a whole chapter, like whatever the weird guardrails you put on for yourself.
Yes.
Like I remember my grandpa my whole life, like read the Bible in a year, every year.
Yeah.
That's so much to read.
It's so much. And it's a lot of dense reading too. Like why put yourself through that?
That's
That
like
was another thing too about, we
crazy.
talked about this a little bit earlier, but the righteousness applied to waking up early.
Oh,
I
yes.
remember at the International House of Prayer, like them saying like, you need to get up early and reading your Bible. And someone literally said like, I'm not really much of an early riser, but I'm up till 3 like a.m. in the
Reading my
morning.
Bible.
Is that cool? And they were like, no, there's something specifically about you having to do it in the morning.
Yeah.
And like that's how technical it was, where it's like the person is still reading their Bible. They just recognize that they're more receptive at 3
Yeah.
a.m., which is honestly a lot of creative people are like that.
Yeah,
That's probably what
just
was going on with that
different
person.
people. Yeah.
And it was just so like, that's the hill you're gonna die on. I feel like that's a lot of the like pipeline to like manosphere red pill shit, where they're like really obsessed with bodybuilding
Yeah.
and getting up early
Yeah.
and like, this is my like Patrick Bateman morning routine.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe where a lot of that got in.
Well, and so many people who grew up like super hyper religious and then might go like to a more charismatic way, they have to find that religion somewhere. So like they'll find it at the gym, or
Yeah.
they'll find it, in like some other way
Yes.
that like they have that really rigid part to them still.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of that, to be honest
Yes.
with you. Like I'm really like time is something that I feel really rigid about.
Yes.
Like I get up early still, and when I'm
Yeah.
not getting up early, it's like kind of hard.
And I just feel like you're kind of hard on yourself. Like you have a lot of expectations for yourself.
I do, but it's kind of fun. In an effort to not be as hard on myself, I'm gonna let myself be hard on myself. I think it's fine that I'm hard on myself. Like I think it's chill.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm not confronting you or judging you.
Yeah,
You are free.
I don't actually feel judged or confronted right now.
Okay, great.
Look at us having just a
We've
normal
grown so much.
person conversation. Okay, so we, before this episode, asked the people on our social media if they had any personal stories of being accused of backsliding.
And they were really good.
We got some really good ones,
Yeah.
so we're going to share some of them.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and start.
Okay.
So, to the prompt, have you ever been accused of backsliding? What was it for?
Yeah.
Here are some of the responses we got. It was because I was in fact gay.
Backsliding.
I went to therapy. Yeah. Backslider. I moved my part too far to the left. Oh yeah, that's where the person was like, they had a middle part in their hair and they moved it to the left. And someone at their church was like, that's unbecoming of a woman of God.
Yes. Too emo.
Too emo.
We got some good. Yeah, we got some good ones on TikTok.
Yeah, I want to read those.
I moved to California.
With the California pipeline that we just talked about. It is so simple to move to California.
I was accused of backsliding for not having a Bible verse in my Instagram bio. I was accused of backsliding because I threw up the morning of See You at the Pole in 9th grade, and my mom said I did it on purpose so I could skip it because I was afraid to profess my faith. And then one more, someone said that they were photographing a gay wedding and was told they should be ashamed of themselves.
Classic.
And then they left the church after that.
Good for them. They put their foot down. Okay. So now that you and I are where we are,
Yes.
What are some reflections you have on that period of being like obsessed with backsliding, or like what are some of the like healing things that you've adopted now?
I think just having like a bigger perspective of life and of
Mhm.
humanity, and that life is long, and like those kind of things. Your life's really small. When I was 21 and
Mhm.
in college, like in that bubble, I
Mhm.
kind of felt like this is all I can do and
Yeah.
all I have control over. But I think therapy is probably the biggest tool, and also, medication and
Mhm.
other things that have helped me like normalize my brain and
Yeah.
my health. Um, and then just like doing whatever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I think like moving in with my boyfriend was a big deal for a while.
Because it's such a visual, like you can't
Yeah.
hide it.
Such
And
a statement.
yeah, it is a statement to live
Yeah.
with your
But I was
boyfriend.
like, well, it's a lot cheaper. And
No, it
also,
really
like, I
is.
want to.
It's
So,
like not possible. Like the moment I can
yeah.
move someone in, I will.
Yes.
Like I don't even care if I don't know them.
What about you?
Um, so I feel like so in the last few years, I just got really serious about um just like my mental health. So I like got
Mhm.
really into therapy, and I got really serious about like doing everything my therapist recommended that I do.
Yeah.
I got on medication. I was working through a lot of hangups I had, and I felt like it was almost like, when like your jewelry is all tangled together and you're like, where do I even begin? But once you start pulling at the threads, it
Yeah.
all comes undone. That's what I feel like. I don't know specifically what it was, but once I started like not being as a like forgiving other people, it was easier to forgive myself. Once I started like having more grace for myself, like other things like melted off. I started like caring less about like what other people were doing.
Mhm.
And it felt like it was just this thread where like one of the things that I still had a bit of a chokehold on me is that I still cared a lot about what people thought, and I allowed people to police my behaviors.
Mhm.
And because of that, I think I attracted a lot of controlling people because of how like
Yeah.
formidable I was, or just
Yeah.
like how easy like you could persuade me to do something pretty easy. Like
Mhm.
I'd always be the first to apologize or the first to change my behavior. And then I just like got tired, and I was just
Mhm.
like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I just stopped.
Yeah.
And then those people got frustrated with me, and then we fell off because they couldn't like be as
Yeah.
manipulative. And now I just feel like I genuinely can't explain it. Maybe it's turning 30, maybe it's medication. Like I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Mhm.
Like if someone accused me of backsliding, I would just laugh.
I know.
Yeah, like
It's
now,
amazing.
and like I feel like I'm starting to like correct some things where I'm like, oh, there are certain like behavior boundaries and structures that I could probably implement that would increase the quality of my life. But I'm far more concerned with an increased quality of life than I am with like abiding by certain rules.
Yeah,
So
for
I don't
sure.
know. That's the best way. I'm like kind of in the process of it, honestly. So that might not sound super coherent because it's a work in progress. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what we have.
Great.
So, all right. Well, I'm just going to go out with our outro then.
Okay.
So blessed are the listeners, for they shall enjoy a glass of wine at their own goddamn wedding without fear that their youth pastor will find out. You can find us at praisebeatopod.com, on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at praisebeatopod. Or you can email us or comment on anything if you have any questions or want to share more backsliding stories. We'd love to hear them.
Yes, please.
Yes. But with that, it is finished.
Bye.
Bye.